Yep.
But folks like obviously YD flew in from New York. Big D came down from Canada.
All the way from SoCal as well.
Yeah. And, you know, we got ourselves, speaking of SoCal, we got ourselves a SoCal Classic at the Eugene Regional event.
What is this? Land Hero? What is this? Game Shark? What is this?
Land Hero 86 Grand Finals.
By the way, Wave 57, thank you. You are the real one. The realest of ones. Oregon, there you go. He's the only one that didn't mock me and actually tried to help me. Thank you very much. And of course, Fro, we are back into the game. Monte with his gaming watch as staple, of course, and versus Marvelous Marco, who has been doing phenomenally, at least in this tournament. Lots of games that could have been either or.
These two are intimately familiar with one another because they battle all the times at SoCal Locals. Go back and forth. Marco actually won the last set at MSM 0.
Right.
So. Monte maybe looking for a little bit of retribution and payback. Able to avoid the bomb there. We're just going to see a lot of Marco just trying to force Monte into some bad situations. And Monte usually escaping them by the weight of panic. He almost got that trip up sausages into the down air. He can't basically get the knockback into it to fall through. Just didn't quite work out.
Yeah, you love to see those traits as well. Like you saw Monte's down air against Marco's up air, and each one sent to their respective directions.
Yeah.
It's always very fun. And you know what? Marco has been doing a phenomenal job also at confirming and actually being very careful not to fall prey to these kinds of extensions that now Monte is finding, and it's finally taking one stock in his.
The fact that there's like no end lag on back air Franklin Turtle, like you can just whip it out. It's like, hey, you want to see my turtle? Want to see it again? So that SpongeBob meme.
Yeah.
But you know, Marco is unafraid to go sky after Monte. That's why he got caught with his pants down basically earlier on that first stock. Marco wields Toon Link so dangerously.
Yeah.
It's why he has a case for being the best Toon Link in the world.
I mean, Toon Link is the best link of the bunch. There I said it. There I said it.
Monte, I think, might agree with you, to be honest. So, using that panic in order to escape another situation. Oh, he got the weak hit on the hammer that popped him up. You know, Monte wants to go for those berries because it easily sets up into those F smashes. They're devastating.
Now, careful here. You know that Monte will try to find the finishing blow, but listen, Marco still has a lot to offer. That hook shot trying to get Monte a little unaware, and again, the bucket is always going to be a bit of a trouble when you're dealing with Marco's projectiles.
Yeah. The Zaire and the grab part of the hook shot are like some of the fundamentally few
Look at him go.
Oh, there we go. He blew himself up?
Nah.
Not enough height.
That bomb sucks.
Yeah, I just need to get a little more smart. But they are fundamentally two of the sole commitments that Toon Link really has in his kit. The things that just he has to eat, like being punished off of it. And there goes Panic yet again. But Marco, he's definitely wise to how to mitigate those up air hitboxes too, air dodging past them. That's tough, man.
It's indeed very tough, just like people in chat saying that this is no longer EugeneBound, it's SoCal-bound, because we got two competitors from SoCal, two commentators from SoCal.
Yes.
This is no longer Oregon. I did it right.
Yeah,
it is
right.
now SoCal territory, but at least, I mean, we got great competitors, and they are showing us exactly why. Like, levels of adaptation, unprecedented. Look at that parry.
Ironically enough, I think that some of our PNW audience would probably say this is a very relatively speaking PNW matchup. There's a bevy of Game Watches, and we had two very seriously good Toon Links from the region, or from the greater region.
I think there were like 4
JoJo
Toon Links in the bracket. Like, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, JoJo, Cattail, and a few others. Like, you know, so they might actually be like, you know, that's kind of familiar.
That's
Fourth
true.
throw. Toon Link can kill with that, but just not at that percentage range. Not even at 140 in Game & Watch.
Sheesh. Still surviving. That's not going to be. Not.
Yep.
Okay. Damn.
Yep.
Maybe
a little bit of a DI check,
maybe
something of a DI set, but nevertheless, Monte just unable to get past the hook shot that time around. Still kind of commanding this lead, able to wield out Franklin and just kind of mitigate where Marco wanted to go after the fact.
Yeah, so how do you deal with number 2 in SoCal currently? Because Monte with his gaming watch is a complete different beast, and although Marco has, I'm sure, the skill set, the thing is that on paper this matchup seems a little bit harder. Like, you have to go for the hardest of reads, and right now Monte is just getting away with those downers, and of course the pressure that he can set up off stage.
Yeah, good jump call by Monte. One of the ways you wind up winning that matchup is not by putting yourself in bad positions there. Because here's the thing about just fighting Game Watch, you can't air this character,
right?
Even if you have like a decent disjoint, and Toon Link has a decent disjoint where Toon Link loses out in terms of range with his sword, that crazy speed and low end lag, you know? So they have to mitigate that. And I kind of lost my point, but nevertheless, you know, like Marco has beaten Monte plenty of times. Like this is definitely a back and forth kind of situation.
It's doable, right?
Oh, it's totally doable because Marco just has to be really economical with how he decides to deploy his projectiles due to bucket, due to everything he wants to do to just minimize the projectile game. Oh, try to just jump in willy-nilly again. Marco, that's the thing that Marco's going to try and do. He's going to try and like fight back against Monte's aerial control with Zair and with quicker back airs too. So
yeah, also there's a lot of reaction punishes by Monte specifically. Like there's a lot of frame trapping in the Game & Watch playstyle by default.
Oh my gosh.
That was a stuck anyway. Like he air dodged poorly right there, but that was a good way to clean up the stock.
That stock needs circus music. Like, that was zany. Oh, look at that, Marco.
Still on the chase down.
Yeah, Monte was ready to make it pay with another set of Avatar hammers, but it didn't quite materialize. Couple of sausages at ledge. Sheesh. Marco's like, I'm going to be a vegetarian after this. The amount of sausages you feed me, man. I'm sick of them.
It's just the pressure that Monte is putting out. It's really hard to deal with. And of course, once Toon Link wants to set anything up with the good projectiles that are specifically designed to set up, and Game & Watch can just nullify them with the bucket or maybe with his up B.
Which is why you just pivot there, like Marco just didn't call them out for it, the big F smash. The other thing is I'm seeing from Monte is that he can basically panic through like boomerang coming back through, and that's where Marco makes a lot of his bones, is by hitting people with a boomerang coming back and they don't expect it. And it kind of really allowed him to, it saved his bacon against Jared earlier on tonight, and Monte just kind of just ignore it.
Yeah, he has to play around a lot of things, and it just makes the matchup already harder, you know, because Monte is already a great player, and now you have to outsmart him for the majority of the set, and it
when he has matchup experience
taxing.
too against you, there's the player v player aspect when it comes to like facing down somebody you've played so many times before with stakes on the line. It's just tough. And there we go, up and down. Despite the fact that Marco thought he had the right space down that aerial option, Monte's immediately able to panic and just say, no, you. And he's going to blow himself. Oh, no, the bucket. He actually messed up that bucket input there. That didn't quite get it, but wow. Spata.
Psych.
Yeah, absolutely psych.
Very unfortunate because Marco was putting himself in a very good situation. Very unfortunate that the upper didn't take the stock. But no, okay, listen. That eventually got it, get in the stock. We're going back into a relative neutrality. Only 5%, of course. That's going to disappear as soon as you land into a juggle town, basically.
Yeah,
it's really hard to deal with.
Yeah, Monte, I mean, you heard of trampolines. There's no trampoline there. It's just pain waiting for you as you land. Marco trying to do a good job deploying here, trying to get that Zarin sneaking in through, just trying to mix up what he does and his timings. And it's just so hard to solve the questions. And Monte's asking, and that's it.
What? Okay,
I mean, it's just low enough.
Yeah.
He went for damage. Bomb blow up there. Oh, man, Monte got caught up. Good dash attack by Marco, too.
Oh, dude, that up B is just nullifying a lot of Marco's approaches. And
parrying like the FGC character, too, allows Game & Watch basically ignore everything.
Worst part.
Marco had been able to reverse that up B. He might have actually been able to cheese Monte there.
Watch him get juggled a couple more times, and of course that up B is going to set up in an even harder situation. He can't escape either ledge, really. He's going left and right, and it's going to be somewhat rough, but as you mentioned, you got to rely on these kinds of instances.
This is Rage Toon Link, so you got to be careful here, Monte. Just not give him too many chances. Oh, man, that up air could have done it. Back here, though, out deep, still not strong enough to take care of Marco.
Oh, no setup from him. Back throw, maybe not enough damage on the Game & Watch, and of course the bucket is going to bring back that win factor with the win condition, which is the boomerang. Unfortunately for Marco, Monte was aware of the sneaky tactic, which is wait for my boomerang and hit when hit. And I mean, it's it was a good try, though.
That interaction, that sequence of like no you, nothing personal kid moments. That's a sign.
Competitor knowledge, right?
Oh, totally. And also, Monte's a chess player, so that was checkmate. He just knew how to set up his checkmate.
Sheesh. So not only he lost the set, he also lost in a completely different game that we're not even playing. Sheesh. Speaking about that, shout out to the Melee community over here at EugeneBound. Yeah. They were
wild. They
came
out in great numbers, Sir.
Yeah, the whole thing, like the venue was full, but still very spacious. Like it was beautiful. Well, now back into the game. Monte still going into Juggle Town. Those up airs are gonna be a pain, of course.
And Toon just does not have an option to like mitigate the up airs too.
That's
so Marco
true.
just has to figure out a way to chase and find a way to land too, and make the most of these opportunities where he's got Monte on the ropes. Here we go, double back air, not quite. That's tough there. Yeah. Baiting out the bucket has definitely been a part of Marco's strategy, and it's how he kind of figures out his way to win.
Right.
But the fact that bucket can reflect, too, is so
That's
tough.
the thing. You can try to set up, but of course, every time you're caught off stage in a very uncomfortable angle, you know that a back air or two, or maybe three at the same time are going to come out. And Marco trying his best to set something up, but still not managing to get the confirm.
And there we go. And Marco just tried to set up an elaborate ruse in order to force
Right?
Monte in the right spot. And he just was a little bit short. That's tough. So you can see where all the wheels are turning for Marco in terms of getting these setups. But sometimes you just need a big, strong, meaty hero spin, and then maybe a back air down low. What was that interaction? How Monte just phased through?
No spike from Marco as he tries to go for the downer. Still very very uncomfortable situation. Yeah, at all, because really Marco hasn't been able to find, as you mentioned, how to land. First of all, of course, Toon Link's aerial drift sucks.
This grab might do it. Monte has to dip low.
Yeah, that's the thing. That could have been it, actually. But yeah, I think the boomerang.
It's also a sign of how smart Marco is, that he's so mindful of the legend vulnerability timings and strikes with this F tilt very, very consistently. But again, the hero spin coming in clutch for Marco, and this is not undoable for the Toon Link main.
Yeah, he'd need to find a couple setups that allow him to just bring it back up, but that's very uncomfortable too, because the down air doesn't even go through the up airs. Like they just get stopped in the air, so it's extremely hard to not only land but also find a good solution. For this
game of inches definitely materialized there, where Marco thought he could sky with that up air. Monte had just enough air mobility to jump down air right out of dodge. Like, it's so tough if you're a Marco fan. The panic sending Marco a ways as well. But Monte trying to put that key and unlock victory for himself.
Yeah. It's actually great, a good decision to just wait for the shield to fall down and be able to punish effectively, whether it's with a hero spin or just a grab when the chance happens, but still Monte being ready to punish every single time.
But that bomb actually saved Marco from getting tossed off stage again. Trying to get that just drift in nair too. Marco, he's playing this so cautiously. Monte just striking whenever the iron's hot, more or less. Shield 2 meets her out.
And both are being extremely patient. That's the thing. Like they're really trying their best to not get punished as much. But again, Monte doing phenomenally to find those good openings.
It was also just
punish.
It was also just a really smart decision by Monte just to take the boomerang damage, so the knockback was so limited. And he was just in the perfect range to whip out the Lion Tamer chair and beat down Marco like a WWF villain.
Right. Now, careful here, because despite the fact that Marco has a good opportunity, Monte will get the most out of it, at least in this instance. Again, that up air,
up and down,
losing to the down air.
It's being trapped on like the Tower of Terror ride at Disneyland. It's just, you want to get off. You're getting sick. If you're Marco, you're blue in the face or almost green with envy, like Monte's Game & Watch.
Yeah, and do keep in mind that this is the loser side of bracket, so this means that if Marvelous Marco can't bring it back, this would be his whole participation for EugeneBound.
It's just worse to lose to a player from your fellow region, too.
I think so.
You traveled all this way to lose to Monte.
I mean, we were the real prize is the friendships we made on the way, right? Yeah. So
nevertheless, Marco can win these.
Ay, caray. Ay, caray. Okay, listen, bro. You can step right off. You can step right off. Thank you. Thank you for participating.
Yeah.